Okay, we can all agree that Superman is pretty popular and as such deserves a pretty good movie. But in DC's new cinematic universe...
Thank you.
For what?
For believing in me.
Let's just say he's not that interesting. Now, people will always have their complaints about Superman being just boring and ridiculous and uninteresting. But I think Man of Steel was very close to giving us the Superman we wanted in the DCU. The idea of Superman is there, but then it's just filled with unnecessary noise and slow motion.
So much slow motion
that people get too bored to look for Superman and who he really is in the movie. A person doing the right thing for the sake of helping humanity. So, I come up with an idea that brings Superman back to his core roots and makes him a more interesting character. My name is DJ, and this is how to make a good Superman film. The main thing that makes readers of Superman comics so interested in him is not his powers. In fact, it's mainly a gripe of most fans. No, the main thing that people like about Superman, this over-the-top hero from outer space, is his humanity. A moment in one of the best Superman comic books ever, All-Star Superman, shows us this. There are a few panels when a girl is about to jump off a ledge to commit suicide, and Superman just flies down and tells her not to. He talks her out of jumping off the ledge. No pure destruction, no powers, just a man showing somebody else that there is interest and intrigue in that person. That there was something worth fighting for. This moment is brought up by a lot of comic book readers, and there's a good reason why. A lot of people will say this is my favorite Superman moment in any comic book adaptation of him, because he's not being overpowered. He's not doing anything that anybody else could do with him. It shows why Superman is so beloved. He cares about humanity. Batman even tells us literally,
He's more human than I am.
So, I want that to be the main focus. Not of a man or an alien coming from outer space. No, I want this film to show Superman caring about humanity. Man of Steel even tried doing this in the beginning of the movie. When Superman stopped a bus from going into a river and having everybody in the bus drown, he uses his powers, even though he's told not to, he still does it knowing that that's the right thing to do. If you can help people, that's what Superman does. I would like more scenes like this. Superman trying to help people. Trying to not be this alien protector of Earth Superman, but be a man who cares about other people of Clark Kent. DC tends to make their superheroes larger than life. They make people feel like gods in all of their adaptations. What a Superman film tends to do is focus much more on the god aspect of him. However, I don't particularly want that. I want a Superman that feels human. A Superman that feels like a person in the movie theater can relate to this person. To not only look up to him, but to feel connected to him. DC is too focused usually on these big action set pieces that they don't focus on the main character, the human character of the person. Which is strange because they have several examples of this going on right now, of them focusing much more on the human side of the hero, and it pays off way better than just showing them their god aspect. For example, The Flash. The show doesn't ever really make The Flash feel like the main focus, but rather Barry Allen, and I'm like, Barry Allen! Yes! But rather Barry Allen, who and his struggles in his life. Superman movies should do the same. Make Clark Kent and Superman feel like two very different characters, but intertwine them to make them one. Clark Kent is generally weak, cowardly, unable to help people, and tries to go through his daily life as a reporter looking for a way to feel normal. You can use this as a means to help make Superman and Clark intertwine with each other, instead of acting like they don't really affect one another. He can be a weak civilian, but you should make him have problems with the superhero side of him as well. Okay, so now that we got what I think about Clark Kent and what his role should be, let's pull a Two-Face, and flip the coin to Superman. If you look at just about every movie Superman is portrayed in, something strikes you about him and his powers. The Lost Son of Krypton is already very familiar with his abilities and mainly uses them to fight the villain of the film. But what about a different approach to the character? What about a reimagination where he's not so comfortable? What if he's just not as confident in himself with his powers? Yeah, I know that sounds like most superhero origins, but there's a reason a lot of people do it. It's because it works. And I think it would especially work with a guy like Superman. An origin film where Superman is not as confident in his abilities as he should be not only makes the person watching relate to him, but it also gives you the opportunity to play with the character a lot more. That can be a very powerful tool to help people relate to Superman, this godlike being. Let him learn through his powers and actually earn the confidence that he has. Okay, I told you in the beginning that I would tell you how to make a good Superman film. So far I've given you broad ideas, but how exactly could they potentially work beat by beat in a story? Well, this is just one example of how all of this stuff can fit together into an amazing Superman film. Okay, we start in Krypton, and I'm giving you top 5 minutes Krypton. I want you exploded by minute 5. You need to have the scene where Superman blasts off into space with the planet exploding behind him, but give that 5 minutes tops. Man of Steel had it for 18 minutes. I counted. I watched the movie. Fell asleep halfway through, but I watched the movie. 18 minutes of Superman on Krypton. Okay, so for the next 20 minutes or so, we watch as Clark slowly grows up in Smallville, okay? Don't focus too much on him being an alien. Focus on him growing up in Smallville. Within these 20 minutes, I feel like this would be where we would have something similar to the bus scene from before. I'd also show him as this small town kid from America, y'all, in Smallville, where I'd have him growing up on the farm, not necessarily understanding all of his powers, while learning his American roots. Why do I keep doing the accent? Anyways, he starts to learn about humanity and how to live in a normal life. Okay, so about 30 minutes into the movie, we start getting introduced to the main villain of the film. And personally, I'd have it be Lex Luthor. Mainly, I'd have him there because he's human. He's not an alien. You understand his powers and his limitations. Okay, if Zod got shot in the face, you wouldn't know what would happen as a normal moviegoer. However, if Lex Luthor gets shot in the face, you know he's dead and he's out. He doesn't have weird alien properties. So, about 30 minutes in, we get introduced to Lex Luthor. In the movie, he would be running for president, and he hires an assassin to go take out all of the other people running for president. Yes, I know that sounds very, to be fair, comic booky, but it's Superman, based off a comic book. Go with me here. Okay, after that scene, we move back on to Superman, and he goes for a job interview in the Daily Planet, for instance. This is where I'd probably have your laughs in the film. Okay, he would weirdly look at Lois Lane, he'd be, you know. But after this portion of the movie, though, he can be known as the worker for Daily Planet, but I don't want anything else to do with Lois Lane. I feel like, even though Lois Lane is a big staple to Superman, I feel like her presence will complicate too much more of the story. She's definitely in the sequel, and they're definitely start romancing in the sequel of the movie, but for this example of how I could make this plot, not in this one. So we're about 45 minutes into the movie, and you may be noticing that I haven't really used Clark Kent's powers at all, and that's on purpose. This is giving you the opportunity to make Clark Kent relate to the moviegoers. So, now we see Clark go back to the Kent household, and this is where I'd have him learn about the spaceship more. He starts to finally learn about his alien roots, and this is where I'd probably show the suit. I wouldn't show him in the suit just yet, but I'd show Clark Kent holding up the suit with the hope symbol.
Hope starts with an H, stupid.
Throughout the movie, I would also add little subtle hints towards Lex Luthor being a bad politician in the background. So, Superman notices what's going on, and he decides to go out and try to figure out what's happening, but as Clark Kent, as a Daily Planet reporter. This would lead Clark about an hour into the movie to a press conference for one of the other people running for president. You know, he's just hanging out, he's taking notes, he's got the goofy glasses, until he starts to hear through his super hearing abilities a bullet being put into the chamber of a gun. If you really want to be cool, I'd make a Deadshot. Deadshot's pretty cool. Maybe Deadshot could be the assassin. I don't know. It's just a nudge and a wink to the audience. Anyways, next up, you hear Deadshot start shooting the gun, and all of a sudden, the camera zooms in on the S symbol on Superman's suit. It's then revealed that Deadshot shot Superman, but it didn't affect him at all. Like the bullets, like on his chest or on the ground, because Superman stopped Deadshot from killing this candidate for presidency. Superman then goes up and figures out exactly what's going on from Deadshot. He figures out that it was Lex Luthor. He stops him from running for presidency and puts him behind bars with Clark Kent now officially being known to the world as Superman. As you probably noticed, there weren't any huge fight scenes, really. There wasn't a huge feat of Superman showing off his amazing abilities and killing everybody in 5 seconds. No giant lasers in the sky, no fights in space, nothing. A simple story about a kid who has powers from outer space, trying to learn how to fit in with humanity and learn with the powers that he has. This is a Superman story that actually lets the audience relate to him, to see him with a realistic enemy with realistic expectations. Unlike an Alien, again, Zod was a bad choice for the first bad guy in the Man of Steel. I'd have us learn Superman first, I'd have him learning through his abilities, I'd have us relate to him first, don't rush it, and let Clark Kent take his time and learn how to be a man of tomorrow, today. But yeah, that's exactly how I would kind of do it. I don't know. Did you guys like it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys liked it, please let me know by hitting the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have, why not hit the bell to be notified of everything I do here. My name is DJ, and have a good day.